everyone. Welcome back to another Startup Grind Montenegro event, in this case, our first event of 2023. I'm excited about today's interview. We're having an amazing guest with us that I will introduce in a moment. Max Filatov is the founder of Startup Factory, which is a pilot project for the startup business and incubation, which was built with the open source concept in mind, which is something new, I would say. Max is a US consultant and solution architect professional with more than 20 years of experience in his career. He has been working with multiple startups over the last 8 years and enjoying his life with family here in Montenegro, which, at my humble understanding, is one of the best places in the world right now. So, without more dilation, for those who are new to Startup Grind, just let everybody know that Startup Grind is the largest community of founders, entrepreneurs, and people with similar mindset in the world. We are more 5 million or plus members of the community. We host monthly events trying to get the most of the local startup community, and we are here to help each other in this amazing journey. So let me introduce to Max so we can begin this great interview today. Where you are? Here you are.
Hey, Juan Ignacio.
Hello, Max.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
My pleasure. Always a pleasure. So, for everybody who is joining us today, and some of them, I'm pretty sure they know you, but some of them know. So, share with us a little bit more about you. You have a lot of years of experience working in tech, which is also super valuable. But you focus the last 8 years working on startups.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's your experience and your headlines from that experience?
Yeah. So, hi everyone. I'm Maximilian, or you can call me Max. And as Juan Ignacio mentioned, my professional career is about the design and development for the web applications and products. And actually, I started with my first two and a half years in WWF, which is World Wide Fund for Nature. If you don't know, so this is very exciting experience for me. It was it's world known nonprofit organization, and the methods they applied and the team. By the way, one of the greatest team I ever worked with. They I think they shaped my mind from the beginning, and I'm doing the design and advertisement, technical work and front end and full stack development there. Working with communities, working with the advertisement, well known was pandas, if you remember. And yeah, that's atmosphere of the joy, courage, and the crunch at the same time. Always a crunch. I think that's what I learned so far, and that's what I have a very good experience from on the beginning. And after all these years of development, programming, so I learned a lot of programming languages and design, a lot of design, worked with publishing as well, and advertisement, digital advertisement. So I switched actually 8 years ago to the total startup and remote work. So remote work back in days that was not a common thing. That's not all the companies want to have, all employees to work remotely, completely remotely. And that's one of the companies who want to do this because they even don't want to keep an office in Silicon Valley. For example, they lived in Silicon Valley in Palo Alto, but that they have a very very uncommon team spread across the world. So I became one part of this ecosystem and this different mindset because it's a total switch from European kind of mindset to the United States based mindset, especially on the startup field. From corporate to startups, and the switch with the mindset, it blows my mind actually. On back in days, they used absolutely different approaches to architecture and solution and problem solving and negotiations, and that's different culture. Uh, so yeah, and for all this years working with startups, I worked with so mostly on Internet of Things field, and also fintech field, and some electric vehicles, and so on. So building applications and system for that portion, from like home to security to care to energy solutions, and work with teams and projects for Fortune 500 companies, for the most part, running the projects and internal startups and pilots for that companies, which is again back to corporate mindset. When you see it, for example, with when you come to meeting from small startup, and you find that in the conference room you have like 40 people from the customer, and that 40 people is different on on the next call. Yeah, it's quite a lot of fun for me, as I quite enjoy that kind of learning on how things work, and learning the different approaches to the architecture and design, and especially user experience. This is new, well, relatively new term, like 5, 6, 10 years, but we have been in user experience all the time. If you like follow the human-centric design, you always know what is user experience, it's just called differently.
Exactly. Yes, 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 yes.
Uh,
Without that in mind, the development of any product is impossible.
yeah,
Because it's
yeah,
not about how it works, but how the user will make use of it. So I agree 100%.
yeah. And I come to Montenegro with my family. I think it was like 5.5 years ago. So I come before just driving across all the country, find the best place to live, and just move here. And yeah, I found uh, that was a quiet place 6 years ago, in terms of you know communities and technological professional communities, um, design communities. It's good to see we have a lot of changes for the past 2 to 3 years, and yeah,
It still is at some point,
yes,
uh,
yes,
which is encouraging because that means that we have a lot of things to improve, ahead of us, which is a great thing. And how do you feel in Montenegro? Because after 5 years and a half,
yeah. So when I first came here, um, that was a so I lived a lot in a small country, which is very similar in terms of nature, um, in terms of wild nature, in terms of people. It's called Abkhazia. It's a part of Georgia. It's on the Black Sea, part. So it's quite a similar, mountains and the sea combination. But here, uh, I actually faced uh, a lot of stability and safetiness, and a lot of like it's it's not lazy. It's just a different pace. It's just a different feeling, which is if you work remotely, especially, which gives you a lot of relief from your common, you know, daily uh,
Yes.
work and so on. That's what I find here. Beside all of that, it's one of the most beautiful countries in the world. And I strongly believe that when I send any kind like single photo from my window, the view from my window to any colleague, they just can't, immediately
Yes,
going crazy and want to come here. Yeah,
you lose friends every time that you post on Instagram.
yeah, yeah.
I agree with you in pretty much everything. The feeling of safety, but also the real safety, but the feeling that you feel safe in the country, especially if you have a family, it's something that I find very, very important. Things go here in another rhythm. The speed here is different, uh, but that's also a good thing because coming from the big cities where everybody is trying to do things for yesterday, and you have no time for pretty much not even for sleeping, makes you allows you to live your life in a different way, your professional life and your personal life. So it's possible to find that balance, let's say, that everybody tries to find at some point, no? How you dedicate to your work and being efficient and successful, but at the same time, how you take care of your family and how not to watch your years of life passing by. So I
Yeah.
think Montenegro allows you to find this way of living uh, with this balance. So uh, you created Startup Factory, which is for me is an amazing project. But let us know how you define it and how you got to that point, uh,
Hmm.
because I think that will give us like the kickstart for this.
Yeah. So Startup Factory. Um, so this is still a pilot project, I would say, um, and it's totally free and open source, and it's built in the mind with that concept. And what we've done for the past season of the Start Factory, let's say for the past year, we're running a real user testing events, which is we're testing the pilot to structure the framework for the startup incubate and business incubation and facilitation processes, or building the environment, I would say, for that matter. And this is the like approach which is began with community driven initiative. So community requested that, because I was on I hold the speech on the previous IT meetup in Montenegro here in Budva about the startups. It was like non-educational, just fun speech about in the presentation about the you know how the United States startups works based on my experience. Yeah, and I received quite a lot of interest into like what about startups here? What how are we going to run some events here about this? How we like maybe we can create some projects here. Um, and that's built from that experience of me and organizers and experts were involved to share like proven mechanics and teach best practices on the of the early stage of every startups or a business. technology or social projects. In all of that, of course, I started with a group of organizers and experts who actually joined me on the early stage and supported me and supported the idea to run these events. So let's say the Startup Factory is the framework we built. We're still working on that, which is about building the environment for the startup growth and the technological growth and digitalization of the services within the region or country, or with the support of the community. Because without the community, you can't do anything. And that was an idea. That was the start. Of course, we've got a lot of feedback, so we collected the feedback. And being the UX consultant, of course, I have a tons of databases of information out of these events we run, out of the workshops, out of the feedbacks in the projects. So that's how we will shape the framework itself, the open source, the processes, what you need to do within the community to run such a thing, to run a startup incubation season or workshops or boot camps around the startups, educate anyone who want to be involved, give uh, a own experience, share the experience about the how business works, how the startups works, how the software development and design works in application to the startups.
So when we talk about framework, as you said, it's basically a group of guidelines of how to run this type of project. So basically, you are making up all the basics that
Mhm.
someone else can take and apply on their local communities. And here in Montenegro, as far as I know, you run this first stage of the pilot over the last year. How does it work in practice? How is the process of applying this guideline, this framework to a
Mhm.
real project?
Yeah, so from the beginning, as a preparation for the series of events, we actually built the plan of how we're going to do this, the first season, and pretty much follow the plan, except one thing: the detailed map within each of the stages and each of the event was completely dynamic, because we didn't know who will apply, what kind of projects will come, what kind of state of the projects who coming uh, will be at the moment of the start of the startup factory, and also what kind of expertise we will got at our disposal, because the experts is the core core auditory for this events, for this kind of the incubation. We've got um, 35 plus experts who joined us on the different stages during the startup factory first season, and who helped also develop the framework, and also educate and mentor the teams and leaders and the projects, and help with many other activities, including organizational part. Some of them supported strongly, some of them just be on the one event, but that's the same for me, because they all doing that for free, and it's for free will, and they all want open and want to help, which is very, very exciting. um, and for within that plan we've built, the roadmap we've built the events, for the series of events, was shaped in a way of the 2 months intensive incubation process, starting from the beginning of the understanding what problem we would say solve for each of the projects, what kind of baseline for the business model, what kind of user story, what kind of outcome, what we want to build as proof of concept, and what is it, and educate on every stage. Every stage was dedicated to the specific section and specific stage of the startup, I would say, which is of course like unified system. Not every startup need every stage, but what's interesting, I think every project during the startup factory gets something valuable on each stage, even that's not applied directly to their theme of the project, which we can talk later what kind of projects we've got during the first
Sure.
season. And what most important, experts was the core driver for the master classes and workshops which we run within the startup factory. So this is very, very important. It's like all workshops is always dynamic. You like and I think we're moving towards the total workshop and facilitation processes within the next season of the startup factory, which we also can talk later on, like what's next, because it's the most useful, most helpful way for each type of the project on every stage, using the best practices of the workshops.
Okay, so I have two questions. The first would be, for our audience to have a point of comparison with what's coming next for startup factory, how was this process? How was the cohort? How were the I don't know, the sessions built, or the structure of this first season? And the second is, I remember some photos of the first event you made with the presentation of the project, and you had like a close to 100 people or so.
Yeah, 150.
Yes, so plus 50%. So that was a big success for any new or innovative event here in Montenegro. And how was the process of selecting those participants to the cohort? So did they have already an idea in mind? They were already a team working on a project previously, or there was space for people to meet there and say, "Hey, I have an idea. I can work with this. I can work with that," and they build like the project on the place, let's say. Uh, so how was this first cohort?
Yeah, so at the beginning, uh, beside all the work with the experts, so we onboard experts, giving the interview and heading the interview with them, um, and shape the roadmap and events. We also decided to bring anyone who want to run a project for the first season, just not just to challenge ourselves, just to understand, because again, this is pilot. We want to explore what kind of projects we could run on such a small country without any strong support, completely for free. What kind of stages of these startups will come, what kind of ideas will come, because some of the ideas are focused on the current situation in Montenegro, for example. Some of them targeted the Europe. Some of them are like truly international ideas. And we've got, I think we just spread the news across the social networks, and I think we've got about 35 applications of the team leaders or who want to join as a project within the first season. I think we've, yeah, of course, this is too much.
You weren't ready for that success, huh?
Yeah, we wasn't ready to anything actually, because, and this is a good thing, because we never scared. So we like, okay, 35, all right, let's do it. And we've kept like 14 at the end of the application process. So 14 projects at the beginning. This is also a lot because we planned 9 actually.
Okay, it was a modest
Yeah,
beginning.
because we measured capacity of organizers and the space, and yeah. But we decided, okay, it's 14, let's do it, let's try it. um and yeah, we ran this with a 14 ideas. Some of them are new, like just one man idea. He
Okay,
come or she come to us and tell us the idea, the like short description of what the project targeted at, what kind of professionals they need to build the proof of concept. Because again, Startup Factory about the every stage of the startup, including hiring people,
okay,
yeah, to be within the team of the startup, team of developers, marketing, business, and designers, and so on. um, and on the fly, we shaped the events because of the variety of the projects. And the projects, for example, that from the game dev to the social and back to the purely commercial, application, like mobile application whatsoever. So it's very diverse.
yes, yes, yes. You had
uh,
a rainbow of projects to deal with.
yeah, yeah. Some of the projects was not idea, it was already a startup, already a project, which
Okay,
is, which has even some users, but they want to come because they want to start over again,
okay,
and like learn maybe something, their mistakes, maybe reshape in a new conditions, they want to explore new markets, for example, so they need to start over in some of the cases. So yeah, that was quite fun too. Yeah, we were surprised, of course.
and by the end of the cohort, how many projects made it to the established goals of the cohort? All of them, or some of them were left behind?
Yeah, some of them left behind, so some of them on the early stages, because they understood that it's not the quite the format they want, or they're not ready to join because that's too much work from them, or they just find this is not the format for them, let's say.
Okay,
Which is quite okay, because they jumped out on the early stages. Some of them are left the project during the this 2 months. One, for example, find the investment in the middle and decided to just jump off, which is also success, I would say. Yeah,
well, yes, it's a very early success.
yeah. And of course, that some of them are not uh, completed some of the necessary stages. So we decided to do not proceed with them, which is not a fail for Startup Factory and not a fail for the projects. It just, not ready yet statement. Um, and maybe the idea was not a great on that, on that stage of the project itself. So we've come up at the end with the 9, I think, uh,
Okay,
9 projects, which build the proof of concepts, or even MVPs at the end. And this is our outcome of the first season.
okay, that's great because it's more than half, which is a good thing. With a early exit, and tell me, has Startup Factory followed up after the cohort? How those 9 projects evolve, or the activities of those projects of the last, I think, 2 months by
Hmm.
now?
Yeah. So um, we've targeted. So we can't grant any uh, anything out of the startup factory except this framework itself. So we kind of facilitate projects. We can't guarantee any kind of investment at the end, at least for now, because we have no direct request from the partners or investment funds about like what kind of startups they need. That's up to the startup themselves because they build the MVP. They can come to the investment by themselves and show the idea now because that's already done. But I think the projects themselves, they've got the team. They eventually they you know if you think about this, they got the company who run the product during the startup factory. So no matter what, how they was invested, like how they developed this, they can do it in the spare time or a part time, like a pet project for some of the team members. They can really dig into this as a professional. So some of the startups actually became the commercial, and they work
Okay.
right now in Montenegro. Some of them are non-profit social, and that's get the support from many people, and they also run the projects by themselves right now on a donation based or whatever. And some of them are just especially who come with um, already done project or already on the first stage of the startup. They improve it and keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the result.
So that's a good thing. So Startup Factory is still somehow related to them and in contact with them, and that's
Yes.
how you, of course, how you know the progress they had so far. So now moving a little bit on a personal matter. Uh, this is my second year of running the chapter of Montenegro for Startup Gang. This is also my second year living here, and I have let's say, a complete different point of comparison of what the startup ecosystem is or was in Montenegro at my time of arrival, because you came here a few years earlier. Uh, how do you see the evolution of the Montenegrin startup ecosystem, which is pretty small for a country or for the region itself, but also promising for the upcoming startups and the increasing interest of the people on creating this type of projects. But what's your opinion about it? What is the situation, or your forecast for this year with the new presence of Startup Factory, Startup Grind, and the things we can do uh, to help?
Yeah, so there's two parts of this in my experience, in my opinion. So first part of the like the sustainable ecosystem of the like innovations and the technological projects is the environment which already exists, and that's true for the big countries, for the technological hubs. It's already there. There is um, the accelerators, there is a incubations, there is a technological hubs and academies and so on. So you can come and you already have all the help from professionals. And an opposite side, uh, that became actually more uh, competitive for you, as many people come with their ideas, and you have many competitors in the field. and you have not sometime fight for the good resources and good team to run your idea. Here we have like pretty much blank space for the like ecosystem. Speaking about ecosystem, that's obviously not enough resources to help somebody who want to run something and seek for help. I mean, here in Montenegro directly, not enough because surprisingly, there's a lot of ideas, a lot of local startups actually, who who is very uh, cool in terms of like the idea itself and also how they want to run it, how they patient about the projects. And every country does have every like the if you learn constantly, if you want to deep dive into any development or any business, you can learn a lot out of the internet, out of books and so on. And also you may have practice because we're all remote workers, so we all have experiences. Uh, and every country does have somebody who want to run own startup, and they have an ideas or maybe bunch of ideas. And I think Montenegro in this field does have a strong potential, really strong potential to build anything uh, to help with that. Any ecosystem, any technological hub to really educate and encourage everyone who can build something just to go and try, because everybody's stuck with the first step, like go and try. And this is what I'm trying to build here. I'm trying to help to develop, like, okay, you have free project, you can go and try, just your time and your pace and patience. And so just go and try. That's what we're trying to build, I think.
That's a great thing. I would add, or I'd like to add that in comparison with some other well-developed countries with their own startup ecosystem, like Silicon Valley or Europe or Barcelona, for example, or uh, or Japan, there is something that is going on here that I think that is very important, which is the process of teaching the mindset, how to embrace the mindset of the entrepreneurship, which is not a local businessman. It's not just selling one product for buying one product for one euro and selling it for two. It's about to create something that solves a problem of many in an innovative way, and also with a complete different dynamics of how the company is also built. Uh, and what I see in comparison with my first year here and the first bunch group of founders that I met is that every day more young entrepreneurs are how to explain, letting themselves travel abroad, learning, come back, putting those experience, all those things that blow their minds of those developed cities and other startup ecosystems, that they come here and says, okay, this is a blank canvas and we can create here, we can try, we can invest our time, we can uh, produce something new, something that will make Montenegro better. And that's a great thing. And thank you and Startup Factory for this, which is another a little piece of another stone, another piece of grain to this uh, initiative. And that's something that we like to do also with our monthly events, trying to bring value to the community, trying to connect with each other, trying to help the local founders to get some resources and connections. uh, there is one specific topic uh, that has to be with investment, because usually startups runs in a different way as a than a corporation. So it's not that you start your local premise and you have clients the next day. Here you need to build a product, an MVP, launch, go to market, get feedback from the first free users, depending on your model, of course, and then try to monetize at some point. And for that, you need resources. How do you see the the local investment community in Montenegro? Are the typical investor aware of the potential of the startups? Are they learning to this, or are we still like relying on foreign investment?
Yeah, I think of course we're relying on the foreign investment for the most part. If we speak about the technological startups, the like pure startups which targeted for the wide auditory, not a local region, just standard startups, I would say, in the technological field, services and so on. But a lot of this depends on in my opinion, depends on the educational part of the country. So educate everyone, including investors. This is a profitable business as well, the startups business. This is the way of implementing projects, because this is different mindset, versus the corporate projects. You can run fast, fail fast, it's cheap also. You can test, you can reshape, you can, change the concept, change direction. This is startups. All is possible using the startup approach, and all is possible using the software development approaches, the best practices, continuous deliver practices, and so on. And you can really, go with the test and try and rebuild, and test and try and rebuild. And this may take an investment, but also this is a huge opportunity to show to actually create a Montenegro own community, and show that Montenegro, even if it's small country, even if it has no direct presence in most of the big startup community events and conferences, it actually can become the part of this really easily, because you don't need a lot. You can create 10 different startups, come with the one, and it's already will be visible on the scene, because here's the blank canvas, as you said.
And for those that entrepreneurs like you, or like myself, and many of those in the audience, we have many ideas all the time. So because we see solutions rather than problems. Uh, for what is your uh, idea of Montenegro in the future, of for what you would love to see Montenegro going? Which sectors do you believe that we need more startups right now, pointing to, like I don't know, fintech or health tech or prop tech? What do you see that can, what type of project can create more value and generate more impact in Montenegro at the same time that they are, created with a global perspective?
Mhm. Yeah, so this is really important. This is one part why I'm actually doing here something, because you can't imagine being, I have a US company in Canada actually, uh, my own businesses and so on. But I'm doing here open source projects, and this is because of the idea to what Montenegro have a strong potential to be one of the most popular digital nomads hub in Europe, and it's already one of the most popular, country to spend some time, and to go to vacations in the European region, in the Adriatic Sea, because it's beautiful, it's nearby. You can come here from Europe, and it's really international. It's becoming more international, more people coming, more people want to stay. Um, And the startups which need to be run, in my opinion, here in the first place, to just bump this and develop this section. So, for example, digitalization of the country services, any kind of easiness of transportation, any kind of startups in a field of the government services, deliveries, and everything in terms of development on the country itself will become a strong support of everyone who can come and stay and spend money here from Europe, or maybe potentially buy property, stay here, work remotely. They all coming from the large cities, big cities, megapolises, and they want that services. They want to be, to have that, beauty of nature and the
And that comfort,
yeah,
the
and that
comfort of
comfort.
having everything in your phone.
Yeah, sure. But also it's hard to tell like what idea will fly and what's not in terms of the startup, of course. That's variety of the ideas could fly, like green projects as well, and the sustainable projects, which is not about the development of the region. It's about the overall international businesses and international projects, commercial and non-commercial, which potentially can go and grow from Montenegro as well. For that, of course, we need that ecosystem, that community, and out of the ecosystem and community, we will have more attention of the professionals, more attention of the investment funds, more attention from European Union to invest and develop and develop an indication, develop a startup community, develop an investment community, make it healthy and sustainable within the country, so everyone who can come to that environments or to that technological hubs can learn and build um, their startup, which potentially can come with a great outcome.
That's absolutely true. So before getting to the last two sections of this interview, first, remember everyone that the Q&A tab is already open. So if anyone has any questions, please post them there, and we go through them at last. And going back to Startup Factory, uh, a few things are coming. So I know that you will be present in the meetup over this weekend. Tell us a little bit more about that and what is coming about Startup Factory when it comes to the format, the schedules, and specifically the requirements, or what are you looking for the new applicants to the next season?
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, we will give uh, some of the reports out of what we achieved during the first season on the IT meetup this Saturday. Um, and also we will give, I think we will give some announcements. I can give you a smack peek right now. What we're planning.
I promise I will upload the video on Sunday. So everything, keeps private here.
Okay, okay. Uh, so yeah, so the like speaking, yeah, okay, let's speak about cohorts first. So as you know, as I mentioned already, this is pilot. We run, um, with the different approaches. We tested a lot during the first season. We failed a lot. We learn a lot, and we didn't find the like secret sauce of the like startup factory yet, because it's always a challenge. It's always something new. It's built with the idea to develop constantly. That's why I call it open source framework. Everybody can contribute, everybody can apply, everybody once we will publish it, because we're working on that right now, we're working on to open source all the materials, all the stages, all the workshops for the public, open source, so everybody can take it and apply it in their region, in their country, in their community. Try small, maybe maybe for own project, maybe for a multiple projects. How to get team, how to get expertise, how to get the guidance, how to run the workshops, how to like get the you know get understanding what is it works or not for their auditory, and so on, how to test it. So uh, we targeted at the more intermediate level now. So we learn a lot from the like how to build the startup with the inexperienced, for the most part, just an idea, coming to have fun, networking within the community. This is one portion of this, and it will be always there in the startup factory, because it's all about having fun at the end. Not the very serious business people who come and drop the idea at the beginning. No, we try, test, and if it's failed, okay, it's failed, let's try next. All right.
That's the spirit.
So yeah, this is startups. This is not a commercial business. And for the next season, what we're planning for the this year, we will, first of all, we're getting totally internationally. So we're trying to onboard everyone who can potentially even come for like 2 to 3 months from Europe and try to run their startup here. Why not? Why not on their spare time? While they on vacations, for example.
I understand. Okay.
Yeah, we inviting everyone from the local community and the expat community, pretty much everyone, getting more experts and get into the more intermediate level, because we shaped first season, we shaped first roadmap, and we want to make it really, really powerful now, to run the very strong projects out of the experts now. So experts coming with their, not ideas, but well defined business models in their field of interest, in their field of expertise, and we will help them to run their real startup, real project. This is what we targeted at.
Okay, that's quite interesting. I'm eager to know more when you decide to make it public and people can start applying to become an expert, a collaborator, or a contributor to this amazing project. We have a question from Victoria Masters. Thank you, Victoria. And she asks, what type of nonprofit social projects are you working with? Or I assume that you worked over the first cohort, and if you can tell us more about them.
Yeah. So yeah, first of all, one of that kind of projects will have a speech at the IT meetup.
Okay.
That is project about the helping homeless pets, um, and I think that's running in the region for now, because here's a lot of homeless pets, as you know.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Cats
well-known
mostly.
cats and cotter. Yeah, of course, but also dogs, and yeah, and that project targeted to help them digitally, so they have a digital solution to help with, and that's a non-profit project, a social project, which is quite fun. Yeah, quite important as well.
Of course, of course. Max, if you don't mind, would it be possible for you to share with the audience your LinkedIn or your email, so they can get in touch with you and to learn more about Startup Factory and
Sure,
eventually the project that participated into the cohort.
sure. Yeah, and speaking about, yeah, we'll share now. So, and speaking about um, our next steps, right?
Sure.
So we're planning to test a different format before we're getting into the like second season, because again, this it was first season for 2 months. We don't know right now if we go in 2 months or 3 months for the next season,
Okay.
and what kind of structure it will be, because it's more intermediate. It will be well defined, and we're seeking for a partnership and help to be involved in this and discuss together what kind of next season could be within the within the local projects or international projects. So we, and before that applications before that will happen, we're trying to run uh, boot camps. So we're
Okay.
trying to run two boot camps in the spring. First boot camp will be startup boot camp. So that's where we will first of all give more information about Startup Factory. Second, we will so we will have a business focused boot camp, which will show how to run a startup for businesses, for developed companies, for the IT companies or the government projects, and we will show the workshops how to make an idea and make some preliminary results out of this to run the social project or country level project or service, government service or digitalization project for the businesses. So it's more business focused startup. So what is startup, how you can apply startup mindset to develop the projects. And the second boot camp will be around educational portion of this. So how we can help. It's more like exploration and the open question. How all of we, how community, how international community who come here for a long term or just stay here for a few months, how we can help with the educational projects, again, non-profit, um, how we can help with educational projects here in Montenegro to bump the technological and innovation ecosystem here, and involve more and more experts, because again, this is just a time of digital nomadism, and you can't imagine who is here next to your door. It's maybe like 35 plus experienced a speaker on the TEDx, or I don't know, like who knows, investor, business developer, or the consultant expert who is here and want to help, want to be want to network, want to join, and want to educate everyone while he is here to have fun, because here is nothing, here's you can't come to to business hub, there's no business hubs. You can't sometimes you can't find co-working space. So you know everybody just struggle with that, and we need to think about how we're going to educate everyone, what we need to build that kind of spaces. We need to onboard more students. We need to be we can help universities to run something around startups. So that kind of bootcamp.
Okay, that's a great thing, and I'm pretty sure that after those two bootcamps, many more will follow, just because you know many people will not be able to join, but they will in the future. Not to mention those projects to be um, participating into the next season. So I can anticipate a bright future for this project and for the local startup community that is growing every day. And with this, we are getting to the end of this fireside chat. I want to thank you, Max, for joining us today. I want to thank you, the whole audience here, for this hour spending with us, and invite you all to our next event to be published soon. Maybe, as it is my birthday, also in February, maybe we make a birthday party uh, in person. It's like That would be fun. That would be very interesting. We will think about something. So please reserve the third week of February uh, to join us online or in person, or both. We will see. So once again, thank you everyone for coming today. Thank you, Max. Thank you, our partners and supporters. And I hope to see you all on our next event.
Thank you.